Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Flowers. I caught up with St. Mark's Director of Operations, Jill Sekulis, to hear more about the several updates St. Mark's has been making to help the planet and become more energy efficient. Find out what's next for our community. So I hear St. Mark's is solar powered.
That's right, and we're standing here in the midst of the solar panels that are all on the roof around Morrill Hall and all the church school classrooms and over top of the preschool. We flipped the switch in 2018, so we're a few years in now, and it's been really great. These panels generate about 93 megawatt hours of electricity every year. That's about the same amount of electricity as it takes to light up 8 houses for a year. So it's a lot, right? But the church is a big place, and that's only about half of what we actually use here at the church. So it offsets about half of our electricity consumption here.
That's incredible. So what's the next step for the solar panels?
Well, we're hoping to expand solar into a few other places. You know, in addition to the main church campus, you know, we own 3 houses where Father Peter, Father Justin, and Reverend Elizabeth live. And the place where Reverend Elizabeth and Charlie live is a great site for solar. It has a nice south-facing roof, and of course Elizabeth has an electric car, so it would be great to charge it with solar panels. So that's what I'm hoping to do next in the way of solar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One of the things that's a great way to think about how solar electricity works is, what are you offsetting? You know, how is it making it better for the environment? And the amount of electricity that is generated on these panels would be the same as if we planted 1,000 trees each year. And the 1,000 trees absorb the CO2 out of the environment and turn it into good, healthy, breathable air, and this has kind of the same effect. So imagine if we planted 1,000 trees, or we just do this.
That's amazing. So what does the solar panels do for, this community?
Well, for this community, in addition to taking care of our environment, helping to take care of our environment, it also saves us money. So it costs us less to use this renewable energy source than to pay for the electricity that comes from the public utility.
That's awesome. And so what, as the St. Mark's Parish, what can we do to help?
Look for opportunities in your own life and in the buildings that you inhabit to see whether there's a place to use renewable energy there, and to support the way that we try to pay for the capital investments that we need to make so that we can continue to take care of the environment on our campus.
That's inspiring. I know that I will look more into this and want to make change in our community. So what's our next project?
Well, we've got a really big project underway over in the church house, which I'll show you in a minute. But while we're in this building, I just wanted you to see this really big boiler that heats and provides the hot water for the church and all the classrooms. And we are just keeping our fingers crossed for natural gas to become available up here on Owen Oak Ridge, and then we'll replace this boiler with something that will be way more efficient and cost effective. So looking forward to that, both for this building and for the church house.
Amazing. So what do we have here?
Well, here is an example of one of the doors and many, many, many windows in the building that are original to the 1912 building. And so that makes them historic, and we want to take good care of them, but it also means they're not energy efficient at all. So the next thing that we're going to undertake in this building is to begin to rehabilitate the original windows and doors so that they can be more energy efficient, and they'll do a better job keeping the cool in when we're cooling the building and keeping the cold out when we're heating the building.
Excellent. You can keep the original structure, right?
We are hoping to do that, yeah. So we'll be talking to a few different historic restoration folks who have a specialty in this area, and they're going to give us some good advice, and then the amazing St. Mark's Property Committee will help make a good decision there.
Excellent.
So this is all to make air conditioning and mechanical ventilation, right?
Amazing.
So this building that we're in, Gray Gables, was built in 1912 as a summer home for the McLean family, who were members of this church for a long time. And you know, in those days, air conditioning was meant basically opening a window, right? And so that doesn't really work anymore, right? I mean, we have all kinds of things like pollution and humidity and things like that that can make things difficult for machines and for people and for buildings. And so we finally have taken the plunge to put in mechanical ventilation, so then the air can be filtered and you can have the right mix of fresh air and conditioned air, you know, heated or cooled air and things like that. This is a really significant project for us, the biggest construction project that we've undertaken maybe in a generation here.
So when can we start seeing the difference?
Oh, wow, great question. I think the whole staff is looking forward to seeing the difference, you know, as the temperatures heat up this summer, right? Ed won't have to put those window air conditioners back in the windows, and the place will be cool and comfortable. Yeah, so hopefully, you know, by May, right?
That's great. So we've talked about heating, air conditioning, solar panels. What's next?
Well, one other area where people, I think, are used to saving energy in their homes, and we also have been doing for a long time here in the church, is with lighting. And throughout the campus, we converted to LED or halogen lights years ago. But here in the church, some of these light fixtures are custom made and they cannot take LED bulbs. They still have incandescent bulbs in them, which is an old-fashioned kind of light bulb. And the incandescent bulb uses sometimes 10 times more energy than the equivalent amount of light from an LED bulb. So what I would really love to do next is to get the designer who made these fixtures to reinvent the insides of them so that we can put LED lights in there and even further reduce our electricity usage. But as you can see, there are lots of lights, these pendant lights, and then all the spotlights in the corner that make the Reredos so sparkly, they all would need to be changed. So we're hoping to do that.
So you were talking about how old these fixtures are, and you know, seeing how high they are. How often would they have to be changed?
Well, that's another great reason to switch to LED lighting, which lasts for hundreds of thousands of hours. So if we can do that, then we won't need to change these light bulbs for 10 or 15 years. Right now, they have to be changed about every 3-4 years. And that sounds like a long time, 3 or 4 years, but we have to rent a special big piece of equipment that can lift a person between 45 and 60 feet in the air to change the lights. So that's a really big undertaking, and it takes a specially talented person, in this case our favorite electrician, Tony Ryan, to do it. So if we can spread out the amount of time between when we have to do that, that's good too.
So how does this affect the church as a whole?
Well, it's really primary to one of the things we're called to do as Christians, right? God created everything, and He trusts us to care for it. And so this is one of the ways that we can care for it and each other, by reducing our use of things that create energy and create power, by reducing the amount of trash we produce, by reusing everything we can, and we're trying to do all that here as much as we can. And whenever possible, we do it in a way that also saves the church money. So that's another resource we can consider.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for this tour. I've enjoyed all my time.
Well, I've really enjoyed talking with you, Taylor. Thank you so much.
Of course.